When an ambassador of a state stands at a UN podium with a little shredding machine and shreds the UN Charter, that's a gimmick. But when a state, like Israel, conducts itself in ways that render the Charter meaningless and which assault those conventions, including on genocide, rights, norms and laws that this body holds dear, then that is a challenge that cannot be allowed to pass. It is the kind of affront which decades ago led to apartheid South Africa being suspended from active participation at the UN. The prevention of humanitarian assistance, the targeting of aid workers and even of workers of this institution, all while attacking the bodies that uphold international law, the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Court, and claiming the moral high ground while making specious accusations that somehow upholding the law is motivated by anti-Semitism. That worries me because it also cheapens what is a very real and dangerous phenomenon of anti-Semitism. As I have suggested before to this chamber, the absence of accountability, absolute impunity, is a guarantor of perpetual conflict. And I would put it to you that ultimately it does the people of Israel no favors either. I want to offer a very brief checklist of what, in an immediate and more medium term, scaffolding could be on which one could construct peace. The first that has been referred to already is the imperative of maintaining and completing this ceasefire, the release of all the Israelis, your partner included, the exchange of prisoners, the full Israeli military withdrawal, the surging of humanitarian assistance, which should never have been prevented. That requires the parties to implement their commitments. It will require the withheld Palestinian prisoner release to be made good on. It requires the role of the guarantors. There is good reason to fear that this could collapse. There is good reason to fear a resumption of those tragedies, and in particular, a possible renewed attempt to permanently depopulate the north of Gaza. A number of the families of those being held still in Israel, those being held in Gaza, the families in Israel, including some who have been released, have taken to the squares and towns of Israel out of fear that the intention of their own government is not to see this through. 2, the premise for a full ceasefire must learn from history and be based on reality. Hamas non-governance in Gaza is achievable. The movement itself has said so. But no party to a conflict will negotiate its own dissolution unless it is destroyed on the battlefield or unless the root causes of the conflict are addressed. Hamas has not been defeated, and there will be resistance as long as there is the structural violence of occupation and apartheid. It is that simple.